Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to Avenue of Words. I'm so excited you're here with me today. If you're new to our English learning family, welcome aboard this incredible journey we're taking together. And to all my returning friends, thank you for being part of this amazing community where we grow our English skills while exploring the most fascinating stories of our time. Today, we're diving into something truly special. We're going to explore the remarkable life of one of the most innovative minds of our generation, Elon Musk. But this isn't just any ordinary biography. We're going to discover how his story can inspire us, teach us valuable life lessons, and most importantly, help us practice our English listening skills with real-life phrases and expressions that native speakers use every day. So grab your favorite drink, get comfortable, and let's embark on this journey together. Remember, every word you hear today is building your English foundation, brick by brick, phrase by phrase. The early dreamer, building dreams from childhood. Picture this. A 10-year-old boy sitting alone in his room in South Africa, completely absorbed in programming a computer game. While other kids his age were playing outside, young Elon Musk was already showing signs of the extraordinary mind that would one day revolutionize multiple industries. Born in Pretoria, South Africa in 1971, Elon wasn't your typical child. He was what we call a voracious reader. That means he read constantly, devouring books like a hungry person devours food. His mother, May, often found him reading encyclopedias from cover to cover. Can you imagine that? Most of us struggle to finish one book, but little Elon was reading entire encyclopedias. This intense curiosity and hunger for knowledge became the foundation of everything he would later achieve. You see, my dear English learners, success doesn't happen overnight. It's built on years of preparation, learning, and dreaming big dreams. At age 12, Elon created and sold his first computer game called Blastar for $500. Now, $500 might not sound like much today, but for a 12-year-old in the 1980s, it was incredible. This wasn't just about the money, it was about proving to himself that his ideas had value, that his dreams could become reality. But let's talk about something really important here. Elon's childhood wasn't easy. He faced bullying at school, and there were times when he felt like an outsider. Have you ever felt different from everyone around you? Have you ever felt like your dreams were too big, too unrealistic? Well, Elon's story teaches us that being different isn't a weakness. It's actually our greatest strength. The phrase, "march to the beat of your own drum," perfectly describes Elon's approach to life. This means to do things your own way, even if others don't understand or approve. And that's exactly what Elon did throughout his entire life. The journey to America, chasing the American dream. At 17, Elon made a decision that would change his life forever. He decided to leave South Africa and pursue his dreams in North America. This wasn't an easy decision. Imagine leaving everything you know, your family, your friends, your familiar surroundings, to chase a dream in a foreign country. First, he moved to Canada, where he had citizenship through his mother. He enrolled at Queen's University, but his real destination was always the United States, the land of opportunities, the place where the biggest dreams could come true. 2 years later, he transferred to the University of Pennsylvania. Here's where his story gets really interesting. Elon didn't just study one subject, he earned degrees in both physics and economics. Why both? Because he understood something crucial. To change the world, you need to understand how it works from multiple perspectives. During his college years, Elon and his roommate actually rented out their house as a nightclub on weekends to make money. Can you believe that? Here was this future billionaire sweeping floors and cleaning up after parties just to pay his bills. This teaches us an important lesson about humility and hard work. Success isn't handed to anyone on a silver platter. You have to work for it, sometimes in ways you never expected. The phrase, "every little bit helps," really applies here. Sometimes we think our current situation isn't glamorous enough, that we're meant for bigger things. But Elon's story shows us that every experience, even cleaning up after parties, teaches us something valuable about life, about people, and about ourselves. After university, Elon was accepted into Stanford's PhD program in physics. This was a huge achievement. Stanford is one of the world's most prestigious universities. But here's what makes Elon's story so fascinating. He dropped out after just 2 days. 2 days. Can you imagine telling your parents that you're leaving Stanford after 2 days? But Elon saw something bigger on the horizon. The internet was just beginning to explode, and he knew this was his moment. He had to choose between a safe, traditional path and an uncertain but potentially revolutionary one. And true to his character, he chose the uncertain path. This decision teaches us about timing and intuition. Sometimes in life, we have to make difficult choices. We have to decide between what looks safe and what feels right in our hearts. Elon chose to follow his instincts, and it made all the difference. The Sayu first success, Zip2, and the birth of an entrepreneur. In 1995, with just $28,000 borrowed from his father, Elon and his brother Kimball started their first company, Zip2. This was during the early days of the internet, when most people still didn't understand what the web could become. Zip2 was essentially an online city guide. Think of it as an early version of Google Maps combined with Yelp. They provided business directories and maps for newspapers. It sounds simple now, but back then it was revolutionary. But starting a business is never easy, and Elon's experience with Zip2 was no exception. He worked 7 days a week, often sleeping in the office. There were times when he couldn't afford an apartment, so he would shower at the local YMCA. Talk about dedication. The phrase blood, sweat, and tears perfectly describes this period of his life. Here's something beautiful about Elon's approach. He never saw these hardships as obstacles. Instead, he saw them as stepping stones. Each challenge was an opportunity to learn, to grow, to become stronger. This mindset, viewing difficulties as opportunities, is something we can all apply to our English learning journey and our lives in general. 4 years later, in 1999, Compaq bought Zip2 for $307 million. Elon's share was $22 million. Can you imagine going from borrowing $28,000 to earning $22 million in just 4 years? It sounds like a fairy tale, but it happened, through sheer determination and vision. But here's what makes Elon truly special. Instead of retiring at 28 with millions in the bank, he immediately reinvested almost everything into his next venture. Most people would have bought a mansion, a yacht, maybe traveled the world. But not Elon. He had bigger dreams to chase. This teaches us about the difference between being wealthy and being truly successful. Wealth is about having money. Success is about having purpose. And Elon's purpose was just getting started. PayPal, revolutionizing how we handle money. With his millions from Zip2, Elon co-founded X.com in 1999, which later became PayPal. Now we all know PayPal today. It's one of the most popular ways to send and receive money online. But back then, the idea of sending money through email seemed crazy to most people. Elon and his team were trying to solve a real problem. How do you safely transfer money over the internet? Traditional banks were slow to adapt to the digital age, and people were hesitant to enter their credit card information online. XCOM, and later PayPal, provided the solution. But the journey wasn't smooth sailing. The phrase smooth sailing means easy progress without problems, and that definitely wasn't the case here. There were technical challenges, security concerns, and fierce competition. eBay was growing rapidly, and online payments were becoming crucial for e-commerce. One of the most important lessons from the PayPal story is about persistence. When faced with problems, Elon didn't give up or look for excuses. Instead, he and his team worked around the clock to find solutions. They understood that in the fast-moving world of technology, you either adapt quickly or get left behind. The phrase adapt or die really applied to their situation. The internet was evolving rapidly, and companies that couldn't keep up were failing left and right. But PayPal thrived because the team was willing to evolve, to listen to customers, and to continuously improve their service. In 2002, eBay acquired PayPal for $1.5 billion. Elon's share was approximately $165 million. Once again, he had turned a vision into a massive success. But more importantly, PayPal had changed how people think about money and transactions. It made online shopping safer and easier for millions of people around the world. And once again, instead of retiring to a beach somewhere, Elon was already planning his next moves. He had even bigger dreams that would literally reach for the stars. SpaceX, reaching for the stars. Now we come to what might be Elon's most ambitious project, SpaceX. In 2002, with his PayPal money, Elon founded Space Exploration Technologies, or SpaceX. His goal, to make space travel affordable and eventually make humans a multi-planetary species. When Elon announced his space company, many people thought he had lost his mind. The phrase, "he's lost his marbles," means someone is acting crazy, and that's exactly what critics said about Elon. After all, space exploration had always been the domain of government agencies like NASA, with budgets in the tens of billions of dollars. But Elon saw things differently. He believed that private companies could do space exploration more efficiently and at a lower cost than government agencies. He wanted to make space travel as common as air travel. It was an audacious goal. Audacious means extremely bold and daring. The early years of SpaceX were incredibly challenging. The first 3 rocket launches failed spectacularly. Each failure cost millions of dollars and months of work. After the third failure in 2008, SpaceX was almost bankrupt. Elon had invested almost all of his personal fortune into the company, and it looked like it might all be lost. Can you imagine the pressure? Hundreds of employees depending on you, millions of dollars at stake, and people around the world watching to see if you'll fail. The phrase make or break moment perfectly describes this situation. It was the moment that would determine whether SpaceX would succeed or fail completely. But Elon didn't give up. He scraped together enough money for one more launch. On September 28, 2008, the Falcon 1 became the first privately developed rocket to successfully orbit the Earth. It was a historic moment, and it saved the company. From that point on, SpaceX continued to achieve incredible milestones. They became the first private company to send a spacecraft to the International Space Station. They developed reusable rockets, which dramatically reduced the cost of space launches. And in 2020, they became the first private company to send astronauts to space. But perhaps the most inspiring aspect of SpaceX isn't the technology, it's the vision. Elon talks about making humans a backup for civilization by establishing colonies on Mars. It might sound like science fiction, but under Elon's leadership, SpaceX is actually working toward making it reality. This teaches us about the power of thinking big. Most people set small, realistic goals because they're afraid of failure. But Elon's approach is different. He sets goals that seem impossible, then works backward to figure out how to achieve them. The phrase, shoot for the moon, means to aim very high, and Elon literally does that. Revolutionizing transportation. While building rockets, Elon was simultaneously revolutionizing another industry, automobiles. In 2004, he joined Tesla Motors as chairman and later became CEO. Tesla's mission was simple but revolutionary: to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. When Elon got involved with Tesla, electric cars were seen as slow, boring, and impractical. The few electric cars that existed had terrible performance, limited range, and took forever to charge. Most people thought electric cars would never be more than a niche product for environmentalists. But Elon had a different vision. He believed that electric cars could be faster, more beautiful, and more desirable than gasoline cars. He wanted to prove that sustainable transportation didn't require sacrificing performance or luxury. The development of Tesla's first car, the Roadster, was incredibly difficult. The company faced manufacturing problems, supply chain issues, and financial crises. There were times when Tesla was literally weeks away from bankruptcy. Elon had to invest his own money repeatedly to keep the company alive. The phrase "against all odds" perfectly describes Tesla's early survival. Every expert predicted the company would fail. The traditional car manufacturers had decades of experience and billions of dollars in resources. How could a small startup compete against giants like General Motors and Toyota? But Tesla had something the traditional manufacturers didn't: willingness to completely rethink what a car could be. They didn't just replace the gasoline engine with an electric motor, they reimagined the entire driving experience. Tesla cars came with massive touchscreens instead of traditional controls. They received software updates over the internet, just like smartphones. They had advanced autopilot features that seemed like something from a science fiction movie. Most importantly, they were fast, incredibly fast. The phrase "game changer" is often overused, but it perfectly applies to Tesla. The company didn't just make electric cars, they made electric cars cool, desirable, and aspirational. Suddenly, driving an electric car wasn't just about being environmentally responsible, it was about being on the cutting edge of technology. Today, Tesla is one of the most valuable car companies in the world, and every major manufacturer is rushing to develop their own electric vehicles. Elon's vision of sustainable transportation is becoming reality faster than anyone imagined. The Tesla story teaches us about persistence and vision. When everyone tells you something is impossible, sometimes that's exactly the signal that it's worth pursuing. The biggest opportunities often hide behind the biggest skepticism. The Boring Company and Neuralink, solving traffic and connecting minds. But Elon's ambitions didn't stop with space travel and electric cars. He identified other problems that needed solving, and true to his character, he started companies to address them. Stuck in Los Angeles traffic one day, Elon tweeted about how frustrating traffic jams were, but instead of just complaining like most of us do, he decided to do something about it. That's how the Boring Company was born. The Boring Company's goal is to build underground tunnel networks to reduce traffic congestion. It sounds simple, but the engineering challenges are enormous. Traditional tunnel boring is extremely expensive and slow. Elon's team is working to make the process faster and more cost-effective. The phrase "thinking outside the box" means approaching problems in creative, unconventional ways. While everyone else tries to solve traffic by building more roads or improving public transportation, Elon thought, what if we go underground? Then there's Neuralink, perhaps Elon's most futuristic venture. Neuralink is developing technology to connect human brains directly to computers. The goal is to help people with paralysis control devices with their thoughts and eventually to enhance human cognitive abilities. It sounds like science fiction, but early results are promising. The company has successfully implanted chips in test subjects that allow them to control computer cursors with their thoughts alone. For people who have lost the ability to move or speak, this technology could be life-changing. These projects show us something important about Elon's mindset. He doesn't just think about making money or becoming famous. He thinks about solving fundamental human problems. Whether it's traffic congestion, neurological disabilities, or the Long-term survival of our species, Elon focuses on issues that really matter. The phrase "make a difference" is often used casually, but Elon literally makes a difference in people's lives through his work. This teaches us that the most fulfilling careers and projects are those that serve others, not just ourselves. Twitter and free speech, a controversial chapter. In 2022, Elon made headlines around the world when he acquired Twitter for $44 billion. This was one of the most talked about business deals in history, and it showed another side of Elon's character, his commitment to free speech and open dialogue. Elon believed that Twitter, as one of the world's most important communication platforms, had become too restrictive in its content policies. He felt that free speech was essential for democracy and that social media platforms should be more open to different viewpoints. The acquisition was controversial from the start. Many people supported Elon's vision of a more open platform, while others worried about the potential for harmful content to spread more easily. The phrase "double-edged sword" applies here. It means something that has both positive and negative consequences. After taking over Twitter, which he later renamed X, Elon made significant changes to the platform. He reduced content moderation, brought back previously banned accounts, and implemented new features. The results have been mixed, with both supporters and critics of his approach. Regardless of your opinion on these changes, the Twitter acquisition demonstrates something important about Elon's character. He's willing to put his money where his mouth is. The phrase "put your money where your mouth is" means to back up your words with action, and that's exactly what Elon did. He genuinely believed that free speech was under threat, so he spent $44 billion of his own money to address the problem as he saw it. Whether you agree with his approach or not, you have to admire his willingness to take risks for his principles. This episode also shows us that even the most successful people face criticism and controversy. Not every decision will be popular, and not every project will be universally praised. But if you believe in something strongly enough, sometimes you have to be willing to stand alone. The work ethic, lessons in dedication and persistence. One of the most remarkable things about Elon Musk isn't his intelligence or his vision, it's his incredible work ethic. Throughout his career, Elon has been known to work 80 to 100 hours per week. That means working 12 to 14 hours every single day, including weekends. The phrase "burning the midnight oil" means working late into the night, and Elon has been burning the midnight oil for decades. During Tesla's production challenges, he famously slept on the factory floor to be close to the manufacturing line. When SpaceX was facing critical deadlines, he would stay at the facility for days at a time. But this isn't just about working long hours. It's about intensity and focus. When Elon commits to a project, he becomes completely absorbed in it. He studies every detail, understands every component, and pushes himself and his teams to achieve what others consider impossible. This level of dedication teaches us important lessons about achieving our own goals. Whether you're learning English, starting a business, or pursuing any other dream, success requires consistent effort over long periods of time. The phrase "Rome wasn't built in a day" reminds us that great achievements take time and persistence. But Elon's work ethic goes beyond just putting in hours. He's also incredibly efficient with his time. He schedules his days in 5-minute intervals and constantly looks for ways to optimize his productivity. He combines meetings when possible, multitasks effectively, and eliminates activities that don't contribute to his goals. For English learners, this teaches us about the importance of consistency and efficiency in our studies. Instead of studying for hours occasionally, it's better to study for shorter periods every single day. Instead of just passively listening or reading, actively engage with the material, make every minute count. The phrase "work smarter, not harder" applies here. Elon works both smart and hard, but the smart part is just as important as the hard part. He focuses his enormous energy on the activities that will have the biggest impact. Handling failure and criticism, the resilience factor. One of the most inspiring aspects of Elon's story is how he handles failure and criticism. Throughout his career, he has faced countless setbacks, public failures, and harsh criticism from experts, media, and competitors. Remember those 3 SpaceX rocket failures? Each one was broadcast live, watched by millions of people around the world. Imagine having your failures displayed so publicly, with experts on television explaining exactly why your approach was wrong and why you should give up. Or consider the early days of Tesla production, when the company struggled to manufacture cars efficiently. Critics called Tesla a failure, predicted bankruptcy, and questioned Elon's leadership. The phrase "under fire" means being heavily criticized, and Elon was definitely under fire during these periods. But here's what makes Elon extraordinary. He treats failure as a learning opportunity, not as a reason to quit. After each SpaceX rocket failure, he and his team conducted detailed investigations to understand exactly what went wrong. They used each failure to improve their designs and processes. The phrase "back to the drawing board" means starting over with a new approach. And Elon has gone back to the drawing board countless times, but each time he came back stronger and smarter than before. This resilience is crucial for anyone pursuing ambitious goals. Whether you're learning a new language, starting a career, or building a business, you will face setbacks. You will make mistakes. You will encounter people who doubt your abilities or criticize your efforts. Elon's approach teaches us to view these challenges differently. Instead of seeing criticism as an attack, see it as feedback. Instead of seeing failure as an ending, see it as a beginning. The phrase, "what doesn't kill you makes you stronger," perfectly captures this mindset. For English learners, this lesson is particularly important. You will make grammar mistakes. You will mispronounce words. You might feel embarrassed when you don't understand something. But these moments aren't failures. They're stepping stones to fluency, innovation, and risk-taking, the entrepreneur's mindset. What sets Elon apart from other successful business people is his willingness to take enormous risks in pursuit of innovation. While most entrepreneurs try to minimize risk, Elon seems to embrace it as a necessary part of creating breakthrough technologies. Consider his decision to make Tesla's patents available to everyone for free. Most companies guard their intellectual property jealously. It's often their most valuable asset. But Elon decided that accelerating the adoption of electric vehicles was more important than Tesla's competitive advantage. The phrase "the greater good" means benefits that help everyone, not just yourself. Elon often makes decisions based on what's best for humanity as a whole, even if it might hurt his companies in the short term. This approach extends to his other ventures as well. SpaceX could have focused solely on profitable government contracts, but instead, they invest heavily in developing technology for Mars colonization, a project that might not pay off for decades, if ever. The Boring Company could have stuck to simple, profitable tunneling projects, but instead, they're trying to revolutionize transportation infrastructure. Neuralink could have focused on less ambitious medical applications, but instead, they're working toward brain-computer interfaces that could transform human capabilities. This pattern teaches us about the difference between incremental improvement and revolutionary change. Most people and companies focus on making things slightly better, slightly cheaper, or slightly faster. But Elon focuses on making things completely different. The phrase, "think big or go home," captures this philosophy. If you're going to invest your time, energy, and resources into something, why not try to make a massive impact? Why not try to change the world? This doesn't mean being reckless or ignoring practical considerations. Elon's risks are calculated risks. He studies problems deeply, assembles talented teams, and develops detailed plans before moving forward. But he's not afraid to bet big on transformative ideas. For English learners and anyone pursuing goals, this teaches us about the importance of ambitious thinking. Instead of just trying to get slightly better at English, why not aim to become truly fluent? Instead of just looking for any job, why not pursue a career that excites and challenges you? Leadership and team building. Inspiring others to dream big. Behind every successful Elon Musk venture is a team of incredibly talented and dedicated people. One of Elon's greatest skills is his ability to attract, inspire, and motivate world-class talent to work on his ambitious projects. But Elon's leadership style is unique. He doesn't just manage people. He inspires them with a compelling vision of the future. When he talks about making humans a multi-planetary species or accelerating the transition to sustainable energy, people don't just hear business goals. They hear a mission that's bigger than themselves. The phrase, rally the troops, means to motivate and unite people for a common cause, and that's exactly what Elon does. He helps his employees see that they're not just building rockets or cars. They're helping to secure the future of human civilization. This inspirational leadership creates what psychologists call intrinsic motivation, the desire to do something because it's meaningful and important, not just because you're paid to do it. When people believe in the mission, they're willing to work harder, be more creative, and persist through difficulties. But Elon's leadership isn't just about inspiration, it's also about setting extremely high standards. He expects excellence from himself and from everyone around him. The phrase raise the bar means to set higher standards, and Elon is constantly raising the bar for his teams. This can be challenging for employees. Working for Elon means long hours, intense pressure, and constant demands for improvement. Some people thrive in this environment, while others find it too demanding. But those who succeed often describe it as the most meaningful and educational experience of their careers. The lesson for all of us is about the power of purpose-driven work. Whether you're an English teacher inspiring students, a parent raising children, or an employee contributing to a company, connecting your daily activities to a larger purpose makes everything more meaningful and motivating. When you're learning English, for example, you're not just memorizing vocabulary and grammar rules. You're opening doors to new opportunities, new relationships, and new ways of understanding the world. You're becoming a more complete version of yourself. Balancing multiple ventures. The art of focus and delegation. One of the most frequently asked questions about Elon is, how does he manage to run multiple companies simultaneously? SpaceX, Tesla, The Boring Company, Neuralink, and X are all demanding ventures that would be full-time jobs for most people. The answer lies in Elon's approach to focus and delegation. While he maintains oversight of all his companies, he focuses intensively on whatever is facing the biggest challenges or opportunities at any given moment. The phrase firefighting in business means dealing with urgent problems as they arise. Elon is an expert firefighter. When Tesla was struggling with production issues, he moved into the factory. When SpaceX was facing crucial launches, he focused on the engineering challenges. But he's also learned the importance of delegation. Each of his companies has strong leadership teams who can operate effectively when Elon's attention is needed elsewhere. The phrase, "you can't do everything yourself," is a lesson that many ambitious people struggle to learn, but it's essential for scaling any enterprise. This approach teaches us about prioritization and time management in our own lives. Most of us have multiple responsibilities: work, family, health, personal development, hobbies. The key is learning when to focus intensively on one area and when to maintain steady progress across all areas. For English learners, this might mean intensively focusing on speaking practice when you have an important presentation coming up, while maintaining steady progress in reading and writing through daily practice. The phrase, juggling multiple balls, describes managing several activities simultaneously, And like Elon, we all have to learn this skill. The philosophy of first principles thinking. One of Elon's most powerful mental tools is something called first principles thinking. This means breaking down complex problems into their most basic, fundamental components, then building solutions from the ground up. Most people use what's called reasoning by analogy. They look at how things have been done before and try to make incremental improvements. But first principles thinking starts with the question, what are the fundamental physical laws and constraints that apply to this problem? For example, when everyone said that rockets were inherently expensive, Elon didn't accept that assumption. Instead, he looked at the raw materials needed to build a rocket: aluminum, steel, carbon fiber, etc. The materials cost only a small fraction of the rocket's price, which meant the high cost came from inefficient processes, not fundamental constraints. This insight led to SpaceX's focus on reusable rockets and streamlined manufacturing processes. By thinking from first principles, Elon found opportunities that others missed because they were trapped by conventional thinking. The phrase "question everything" captures this approach. Instead of accepting that this is how things are done, first principles thinking asks, why are things done this way? And is there a better way? This mental model is incredibly valuable for English learning too. Instead of just memorizing grammar rules and vocabulary lists because that's how language learning is done, first principles thinking would ask, how do humans actually acquire language naturally? What are the fundamental processes involved in becoming fluent? This might lead you to focus more on listening and speaking practice, since that's how children learn their first language. It might lead you to prioritize understanding over memorization, since comprehension is the foundation of all language skills. The phrase "think outside the box" is related but not quite the same as first principles thinking. Thinking outside the box means being creative and unconventional. First principles thinking means being logical and fundamental. Both are valuable, but first principles thinking is more systematic and reliable. Environmental impact and sustainable future. One of the most admirable aspects of Elon's work is his focus on environmental sustainability and clean energy. Long before climate change became a mainstream political issue, Elon was already working on solutions. Tesla's mission to accelerate sustainable transportation isn't just about building cool cars. It's about addressing one of the biggest sources of greenhouse gas emissions. Transportation accounts for about 16% of global CO2 emissions, and personal vehicles are a major contributor. But Elon's environmental vision goes beyond just electric cars. Tesla also manufactures solar panels and energy storage systems. The goal is to create an integrated, sustainable energy ecosystem. Solar panels generate clean electricity, batteries store it, and electric vehicles use it for transportation. The phrase holistic approach means looking at the whole system, not just individual parts. Elon understands that solving climate change requires addressing energy generation, storage, and consumption as interconnected challenges. SpaceX also has environmental implications, though they're less obvious. By making space launches more affordable and frequent, SpaceX enables better Earth observation satellites, which help us monitor and understand climate change. They also make possible new technologies like space-based solar power, which could provide clean energy without taking up land on Earth. Even the Boring Company has environmental benefits. By reducing traffic congestion, underground tunnels could decrease transportation emissions in major cities. Electric vehicles traveling through these tunnels would be even more environmentally friendly. This long-term thinking about sustainability teaches us about considering the broader impact of our choices. Whether you're choosing a career, making purchasing decisions, or learning new skills, it's worth asking, how do these choices affect not just me, but also my community and the world? For English learners, this might mean considering how your language skills could be used to address global challenges. Could you use English to spread awareness about environmental issues? Could you work for international organizations focused on sustainability? Could you help bridge communication gaps between different cultures and countries? Dealing with stress and pressure, mental health lessons. Running multiple companies, facing constant public scrutiny, and working towards seemingly impossible goals creates enormous stress and pressure. Elon has been open about the personal costs of his ambitious pursuits, including periods of intense stress and exhaustion. The phrase, "under tremendous pressure," describes situations where someone faces multiple demanding challenges simultaneously. Elon has lived under tremendous pressure for most of his adult life, and his experience offers valuable lessons about managing stress and maintaining mental health. One important lesson is the danger of perfectionism. Elon sets incredibly high standards for himself and his companies, which drives exceptional results, but can also create unsustainable stress. Learning to balance high standards with realistic expectations is crucial for long-term success and well-being. The phrase burning out means becoming exhausted from overwork and stress. Elon has experienced periods that could be described as burnout, and he's learned the importance of finding sustainable ways to pursue ambitious goals. This includes the importance of having trusted people who can provide honest feedback and support. Even the most capable individuals need advisors, friends and family members who can offer perspective during difficult times. For English learners and anyone pursuing challenging goals, this teaches us about the importance of balance and self-care. Learning a new language can be stressful, especially if you're also managing work, family, and other responsibilities. The phrase "pace yourself" means to work at a sustainable rate rather than trying to do everything at once. It's also important to celebrate small victories along the way. Elon's companies achieve major milestones after years of incremental progress. Similarly, language learning involves countless small improvements that eventually add up to fluency. The phrase "marathon, not a sprint" captures this idea perfectly. Success in language learning, like success in business, comes from consistent effort over long periods, not from intense bursts of activity followed by exhaustion. The power of vision and communication. One of Elon's greatest strengths is his ability to articulate compelling visions of the future and communicate them in ways that inspire others to join his mission. Whether he's talking about Mars colonization, sustainable energy, or brain-computer interfaces, Elon paints pictures of futures that people want to help create. The phrase "paint a picture" means to describe something in vivid, engaging detail. Elon doesn't just talk about technical specifications or business metrics. He describes how his technologies could transform human life and civilization. This communication skill is crucial for any leader, entrepreneur, or person trying to achieve ambitious goals. You need to help others see what you see, feel what you feel, and understand why your vision matters. For English learners, developing strong communication skills is obviously important for practical reasons: job interviews, presentations, social interactions. But it's also important for inspiring and influencing others. The better you can express your ideas in English, the more impact you can have on the world around you. Elon's communication style also teaches us about authenticity. He doesn't use corporate jargon or try to sound like a traditional businessman. Instead, he speaks passionately about topics he cares about, uses simple language to explain complex ideas, and isn't afraid to show his enthusiasm and emotions. The phrase "speak from the heart" means to communicate with genuine emotion and conviction. When Elon talks about making humans a multi-planetary species, you can hear the passion in his voice. This authenticity makes his message more compelling and helps others connect with his vision. Learning from mistakes, the growth mindset. Throughout his career, Elon has made numerous mistakes and poor decisions. Some Tesla product launches were delayed, some SpaceX rockets exploded, some business predictions proved wrong. But what sets Elon apart is how he responds to these mistakes. Instead of making excuses or blaming others, Elon takes responsibility for failures and uses them as learning opportunities. The phrase, own up to your mistakes, means accepting responsibility when things go wrong, and Elon consistently demonstrates this quality. This approach reflects what psychologists call a growth mindset, the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort, learning, and persistence. People with growth mindsets see challenges as opportunities to improve, while people with fixed mindsets see challenges as threats to their self-image. The phrase, learn from your mistakes, might sound cliché, but it's genuinely how Elon operates. After each SpaceX rocket failure, the company published detailed reports explaining what went wrong and how they would prevent similar problems in the future. This transparency and commitment to learning helped SpaceX eventually achieve unprecedented success. For English learners, adopting a growth mindset is absolutely crucial. You will make grammar mistakes, mispronounce words, and sometimes feel confused or frustrated. But these experiences aren't signs of failure. They're natural parts of the learning process. The phrase, mistakes are stepping stones to success, captures this idea perfectly. Every error you make while learning English is actually helping your brain understand the language better. The key is to notice your mistakes, understand why they happened, and adjust your approach accordingly. This is why practicing with native speakers or teachers is so valuable, even though it might feel uncomfortable at first. The feedback you receive helps you identify and correct mistakes before they become bad habits. The importance of reading and continuous learning. Remember how we talked about young Elon reading encyclopedias cover to cover? That love of learning and reading has remained constant throughout his life. Elon is famous for being able to quickly master new fields by reading extensively and asking the right questions. When he decided to start SpaceX, Elon didn't have a background in rocket engineering. So he read every book he could find about rocket propulsion, aerospace engineering, and space exploration. He also sought out experts in the field and asked them detailed questions about the technical challenges involved. The phrase self-taught describes someone who learns skills independently, without formal instruction. While Elon did attend university, much of his expertise in rockets, cars, and other technologies comes from self-directed learning. This approach teaches us that formal education is just the beginning of learning, not the end. The most successful people continue learning throughout their lives, constantly adding new skills and knowledge to their toolkit. For English learners, this lesson is particularly relevant. While classroom instruction and textbooks are valuable, the most significant progress often comes from self-directed practice, reading books, watching movies, listening to podcasts, and having conversations with native speakers. The phrase, lifelong learner, describes someone who never stops acquiring new knowledge and skills. Elon exemplifies this mindset, and it's a big part of his success across multiple industries. Reading also improves critical thinking skills. When you read extensively, you encounter different perspectives, arguments, and ways of thinking about problems. This mental flexibility helps you approach challenges more creatively and effectively. For English learners, reading in English serves multiple purposes. It improves vocabulary, reinforces grammar patterns, exposes you to different writing styles, and helps you understand cultural references and context. The phrase, kill two birds with one stone, means accomplishing two goals with one action, and reading in English definitely kills multiple birds with one stone. Building and maintaining relationships. Despite his reputation as a workaholic focused on technology, Elon understands the importance of relationships in achieving his goals. Building SpaceX, Tesla, and his other companies required attracting investors, partners, customers, and talented employees. The phrase, "it takes a village," means that achieving big goals requires the support and collaboration of many people. Even the most brilliant individual can't revolutionize entire industries alone. Elon's success comes partly from his ability to build teams of exceptional people who share his vision. This includes maintaining relationships with investors during difficult periods. When Tesla was struggling with production issues and burning through cash, Elon had to convince investors to continue supporting the company's mission. This required not just presenting financial projections, but also maintaining trust and confidence in his leadership. Elon has also built relationships with government agencies, despite sometimes being critical of bureaucracy and regulation. SpaceX works closely with NASA, and Tesla has received government incentives for electric vehicle development. These relationships require diplomacy and patience, qualities that aren't always associated with Elon's public persona. The phrase diplomatic approach means handling sensitive situations tactfully and respectfully. While Elon is known for being direct and sometimes controversial, he's also capable of diplomacy when it serves his company's goals. For English learners, developing relationship-building skills in English is crucial for both personal and professional success. This includes not just language skills, but also cultural understanding and social awareness. Different cultures have different communication styles, and effective relationship building requires understanding these differences. The phrase, "when in Rome, do as the Romans do," means adapting your behavior to local customs and expectations. The role of technology in human progress. One of the most inspiring aspects of Elon's work is his vision of technology as a tool for human advancement and problem solving. Rather than developing technology for its own sake, he focuses on applications that address fundamental human needs and challenges. SpaceX addresses the existential risk of remaining a single-planet species. Tesla addresses climate change and air pollution. Neuralink addresses neurological disabilities and the challenge of keeping human intelligence relevant in an age of artificial intelligence. The Boring Company addresses urban transportation challenges. The phrase technology for good describes using technological innovation to solve social and environmental problems rather than just generating profit. Elon's companies demonstrate that these goals don't have to be mutually exclusive. You can do well by doing good. This approach teaches us about the importance of purpose in our work and lives. Whether you're a software developer, teacher, doctor, or any other profession, asking, "How does my work contribute to human progress?" can make your career more meaningful and motivating. For English learners, this might mean considering how your language skills could be used to contribute to positive change. Could you help international organizations communicate more effectively? Could you translate important information between languages? Could you teach English to people who need it for better opportunities? The phrase, "make a positive impact," means contributing to beneficial change in the world. Learning English opens up opportunities to make a positive impact on a global scale, since English is the world's primary language for international communication, business, science, and technology. Risk management and calculated decisions. While Elon is known for taking big risks, his approach to risk is actually quite sophisticated. He doesn't gamble recklessly. Instead, he makes calculated decisions based on thorough analysis of potential outcomes. The phrase calculated risk means taking chances that have been carefully evaluated, where the potential benefits outweigh the potential costs. Elon's major business decisions follow this pattern, even when they appear impulsive from the outside. For example, when he invested almost all of his PayPal money into SpaceX and Tesla, many people thought he was being reckless. But Elon had done extensive research into both industries and believed that the potential returns, both financial and societal, justified the risks. This approach includes having backup plans and contingencies. Even when pursuing ambitious goals, it's important to consider what you'll do if things don't go according to plan. The phrase, hope for the best, prepare for the worst, captures this balanced approach to risk management. For English learners, this teaches us about setting challenging but achievable goals. It's good to be ambitious. Maybe you want to achieve fluency within a year, or pass a difficult English exam, or get a job that requires advanced English skills. But it's also important to have realistic timelines and backup plans. The phrase, "don't put all your eggs in one basket," means diversifying your efforts to reduce risk. While focusing intensively on English learning is important, it's also wise to maintain other skills and interests that can support your overall goals. The global impact of innovation. Elon's companies don't just serve American or Western markets, they have global impact and reach. Tesla vehicles are manufactured and sold worldwide. SpaceX launches satellites for customers around the globe. The environmental benefits of sustainable energy technology affect everyone on Earth. This global perspective is crucial in today's interconnected world. The phrase "think globally, act locally" means considering worldwide implications while taking concrete actions in your immediate environment. Elon's companies exemplify this approach. For example, while Tesla's factories are located in specific countries, the company's mission to accelerate sustainable transportation benefits the entire planet. Similarly, SpaceX's work on making humans a multiplanetary species is ultimately about ensuring the survival of all human civilization, not just Americans or any specific nationality. This teaches us about the importance of thinking beyond our immediate circumstances and considering how our actions affect others. Whether you're learning English, starting a career, or making any other life decisions, considering the broader impact can help guide your choices. For English learners, developing a global mindset is especially important because English is the world's lingua franca, the common language used for international communication. Your English skills don't just benefit you personally, they also enable you to participate in global conversations, collaborate with people from different cultures, and contribute to international solutions for shared challenges. The phrase "global citizen" describes someone who sees themselves as part of the worldwide community, not just their local or national community. Learning English is one way to become a more effective global citizen. Lessons for personal growth and success. As we near the end of our journey through Elon Musk's remarkable story, let's reflect on the key lessons we can apply to our own lives, whether we're learning English, pursuing careers, or working toward any other goals. First, the importance of persistence and resilience. Elon's path to success was filled with failures, setbacks, and moments when giving up would have been understandable. But he kept going, learning from each failure and using setbacks as motivation to work harder and smarter. The phrase "never give up" might sound simplistic, but it's genuinely one of the most important predictors of success in any field. The people who achieve their goals aren't necessarily the most talented or the smartest. They're often the ones who refuse to quit when things get difficult. Second, the power of thinking big. Elon doesn't set small, easily achievable goals. He sets audacious goals that inspire him and others to reach for extraordinary outcomes. Even if you don't achieve 100% of an ambitious goal, you'll likely accomplish far more than if you had set a modest goal. Third, the importance of continuous learning. Elon's ability to master new fields quickly comes from his commitment to reading, studying, and asking questions. In our rapidly changing world, the ability to learn new skills is often more valuable than any specific knowledge you already possess. Fourth, the value of taking calculated risks. Playing it safe might feel comfortable, but it rarely leads to significant achievements. The key is learning to evaluate risks intelligently and being willing to bet on yourself when the potential rewards justify the potential losses. Fifth, the importance of finding purpose in your work. Elon's companies aren't just about making money, they're about solving important problems and contributing to human progress. When your work has meaning beyond just personal benefit, it becomes much easier to maintain motivation during difficult periods. For English learners specifically, these lessons translate into some practical advice. Be persistent in your practice, even when progress feels slow. Set ambitious goals for your fluency level. Keep learning about English-speaking cultures and contexts. Take risks by using English in challenging situations. Remember that your language skills can help you contribute to causes you care about. The future of innovation and human potential. Looking forward, Elon's work gives us glimpses of what the future might hold. Electric vehicles are becoming mainstream. Private space exploration is opening up new possibilities for humanity. Brain-computer interfaces might eventually enhance human cognitive abilities. Underground transportation could revolutionize urban mobility. But perhaps the most important lesson from Elon's story isn't about specific technologies. It's about human potential. One person with vision, determination, and the right team can literally change the world. The phrase, "one person can make a difference," is sometimes dismissed as naive optimism, but Elon's career proves it's actually true. This should inspire all of us to think about our own potential impact. You don't have to be a billionaire entrepreneur to make a meaningful contribution to the world. Teachers shape future generations. Doctors save lives. Engineers build infrastructure. Artists inspire and enlighten. Even learning English well can help you communicate across cultural boundaries and contribute to global understanding. The phrase, "reach for the stars," has literal meaning in Elon's case, but it applies metaphorically to all of us. Whatever your background, current circumstances, or available resources, you have the potential to achieve more than you might currently imagine. For English learners, this is especially relevant. Language learning opens doors to opportunities, relationships, and experiences that can transform your life. The effort you're putting into understanding English right now is an investment in your future potential, bringing it all together. As we reach the end of our journey through Elon Musk's inspiring story, let's take a moment to reflect on everything we've discovered together. We've explored the life of a man who dared to dream impossibly big dreams and then worked tirelessly to make them reality. From a young boy reading encyclopedias in South Africa to a global innovator revolutionizing multiple industries, Elon's story teaches us that our circumstances don't determine our destiny. Our choices do. Every challenge he faced became a stepping stone to greater achievements. Every failure became a lesson that made him stronger and wiser. The phrase, "from humble beginnings to extraordinary achievements," perfectly captures Elon's journey, but it also captures the potential journey of every person watching this video. Your English learning journey is part of your own transformation story. Every word you learn, every conversation you have, every mistake you make and learn from is building toward your own extraordinary future. But Elon's story isn't just about individual success. It's about how individual vision and effort can benefit all of humanity. His work on sustainable energy helps address climate change. His space exploration efforts help ensure human survival. His communication platforms aim to improve global dialogue. His medical technology research could help millions of people with disabilities. This teaches us that our personal growth and our contribution to others aren't separate goals. They're interconnected. As you become more fluent in English, you're not just improving your own life. You're becoming better equipped to communicate with people from different cultures, to access global information and opportunities, and to contribute your unique perspective to worldwide conversations. The phrase, "be the change you want to see in the world," applies perfectly here. Elon saw problems in the world: unsustainable transportation, expensive space access, neurological disabilities, and instead of just complaining, he decided to be part of the solution. As English learners, you're already being part of a positive change. You're breaking down language barriers. You're preparing yourselves to participate more fully in our interconnected global community. You're developing skills that could help you contribute to international cooperation, understanding, and progress. My dear English learning friends, as we conclude this incredible journey together, I want you to remember something important. You have more potential than you realize. Just like Elon didn't start as a rocket scientist or automotive engineer, you don't need to start as a perfect English speaker to eventually become fluent and confident. The phrase, "every expert was once a beginner," reminds us that everyone starts somewhere. Elon's first computer program was simple. His first business was small. His first rockets failed. But he kept learning, kept improving, kept pushing forward. And that's exactly what you're doing with your English learning journey. Every video you watch like this one, every new word you learn, every conversation you attempt is building your confidence and capability. You're not just learning a language, you're expanding your world, opening new possibilities, and preparing yourself for opportunities you can't even imagine yet. The phrase, "the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now," applies perfectly to language learning. Regardless of when you started learning English or how long you've been studying, today is the perfect day to recommit to your growth and progress. I want to challenge you to think like Elon Musk thinks. Don't just aim to get by in English or to pass a test. Aim to become truly fluent, truly confident, truly capable of expressing your ideas and dreams in this global language. Set ambitious goals for yourself, then work persistently toward achieving them. Remember that every small step matters. Elon didn't build SpaceX in a day, and you won't become fluent in English overnight. But with consistent effort, smart practice, and unwavering determination, you can achieve levels of fluency that will transform your life and career. Thank you so much for joining me on this inspiring journey through Elon Musk's remarkable life. I hope his story has motivated you to pursue your own dreams with greater passion and persistence. I hope you've picked up some useful English phrases and expressions along the way, and most importantly, I hope you feel inspired to continue growing and learning. If this video helped you practice your English listening skills while learning about one of the most fascinating entrepreneurs of our time, please show your support by liking the video and subscribing to Avenue of Words. Your support helps me create more content like this for our wonderful English learning community. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss our latest videos. We have so many more inspiring stories, practical lessons, and English learning adventures waiting for you. In the comments below, I'd love to hear from you. What was your favorite lesson from Elon Musk's story? Which of his achievements inspired you the most? And how will you apply these lessons to your own English learning journey? Your thoughts and experiences inspire me and help other learners in our community. Remember, my dear friends, your English learning journey is your own space mission. You're building the skills and confidence that will launch you toward your dreams. Keep reaching for the stars, keep believing in yourself, and keep growing every single day. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep believing in the incredible potential that lives within you. This is Avenue of Words, and I'll see you in our next English learning adventure. Take care and remember, your future self is counting on the efforts you make today. The phrase, "the sky is not the limit, it's just the beginning," perfectly captures both Elon's philosophy and your potential as an English learner. Keep soaring higher, my friends. Your journey has just begun.